keep having these memories. I see flashes.
Oh, good for you!
I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
I was walking through this city all the time, checking out the sex clouds. See, I got a huge cock.
We have no idea what threats are out there.
Oh, my God!
We can't do this alone. We need you.
God damn!
I'm not what you think I am.
Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool. So cool.
I see good boys.
And my work would begin that very night when I attended the rehearsal of a show the Marquis was staging at a nightclub. The rehearsal had already started when the Marquis greeted me.
Excuse me, sir. There's someone here to see you. No, please, show them in.
Oh, so you're back in show business.
Yes, Hollywood beckoned and I had to answer the call. Randy, get the gentleman a chair, and I'll have Davin show you his stuff. Hit the music.
Greetings, Cool Boy Nation, and welcome to a special installment of the Cool Boys Podcast. I'm Felk, is what Felk always likes to say, Noli.
I'm Ballard. So cool. I had all that at the end.
Yeah, guys, if I sound weird as Felk, it's because Felk's not here tonight. It's the first episode ever that Felk is not hosting our podcast. He is away.
That's right. Dad's away. The boys will play.
That is correct. Yeah, and so we're doing a spoiler cast for Captain Marvel tonight, correct?
Yep, Captain Marvel.
And there were many reasons Felk didn't see this movie, but the biggest...
Yeah, but there's one really important one.
Yes, the most important reason of all is that Felk is dead.
He died. Fuck.
Died of...
Felk's dead.
He is dead of butt AIDS.
He died of butt AIDS. Oh, Felk.
I heard he had a huge dick.
He did. What did he do off the hooker's butthole?
He was doing blow off a hooker's butthole.
Oh no!
Did 85 miles per hour on the 5 and died in a fiery crash of butt AIDS.
Butt AIDS with a fireball.
But I heard he had a freshly shaven cock.
Freshly shaven, the best.
The most shaven, the freshest.
Well, it would have to be if it was based off of last week's episode. We got pubes because we saw a freshly shaven cock last week from Felk.
We did.
So we saw his dick before he died.
We did, and that was glorious.
What's happening?
This is going to be weird without him. Honestly, Cool Boy Nation, this is the first episode Felk has not been a part of, and we're on episode 115.
Yeah.
Now, I myself, I've missed countless episodes because I don't give a fucking shit. But Felk is diehard, and Felk never misses anything. But he has missed the Captain Marvel spoiler cast.
He has. This is the one movie he was not invited to see, and I will let you read from that any way you wish.
Yeah, but you know who was invited? You and me, Ballard, and we saw it.
By the way, I'd like to also mention I've been on every episode of Cool Boys. My annoying voice has pierced your eardrums, Cool Boy Nation, on every single episode.
Yeah, so you were still batting 1,000. You've never missed an episode.
Not yet.
I think I'm batting somewhere around 750.
Which is really good.
It's pretty good.
And also something incredibly poignant, Noli, is that this is also our first episode in a while that is a spoiler cast. We've tapered off a little bit, but we are kind of ratchet it up because we're going into fucking blockbuster season and we're going to need to slay some spoiler casts.
Oh yeah, I think this is our first one since Aquaman, and my first one since The Predator, which was back in September, episode 9.
Yeah, August or September. Yeah, August or September.
And I think I know why I haven't done it in a while, because that movie fucking kind of ruined me.
It ruined Spoilercast. It kind of did. We were kind of just like, yeah, we were all hyped for it, and then it was just like a real big kind of turd.
Huge turd. The
yeah,
biggest.
And Aquaman is obviously not on your radar.
Yeah, I didn't see Aquaman, and that'll be a hard rental for me. Maybe even a hard HBO watch for me.
So before we go and get crazy in Marvel, quick question DC-wise for you, Noli. Are you more interested in Shazam or watching Aquaman?
I think I might be more interested in watching Shazam. Shazam looks fun.
Will you see it in theaters, you think, or maybe wait still?
I think Shazam, I still will wait, unless like the reviews and like, audience feedback is super positive and like it's like a must see. Maybe. I think it looks fun. It looks funny. I don't really like Zachary Levi like at all, but I could be on board with that.
So, like, first little bit of feedback coming out of that for that movie is that it's really good.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
So, I guess that's the only thing that would probably draw me to a movie. At this point, I'm treating DC as, if I hear it's a good movie, I'm sure I'm going to go see it. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's a good way to see movies.
It is, but that's not how I do MCU.
No, it's not. We see every MCU no matter what.
It's a fucking season of television, and we're in season 3 right now. We're hitting the season finale coming up soon. But first, let's get into this episode.
This episode, we will be discussing the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we will forego our Cool Boy updates and get right into Captain Marvel and all the fabulous boners it has given us, is what Felk always likes to say.
Ooh!
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready? Higher, further, faster, baby. Yes, baby.
It's time for
spoilers.
Cool? Cool. So cool.
Try to keep up.
All right, now, Nolan, before we get into Captain Marvel, we have to do a real quick Cool Boy general assessment of the MCU and our opinions of it. We don't have to go through all fucking 21 movies. Let's just go through, just real fast. How do you like the MCU?
Oh, I love it.
What would you give the MCU out of 5 boys?
5 out of 5 boys for me. I'm down for every MCU movie. I'll see everything.
Yep, 5 out of 5 boys for sure. For me too. I've seen them all in theaters. I wish I've seen them all in 3D IMAX, but I haven't seen them all 3D IMAX.
What do you think Felk's rating would be? God bless his soul.
Of this movie?
No, of the MCU in general.
I think he would give it 4 out of 5 boys. I think he would say that the strengths are very strong, and there are some incredible, feats that the MCU has accomplished as a series and franchise of films. I would say, though, he would say that the weaker films are by far the weakest, and some of the social pandering is probably not to its benefit.
Oh.
Wait. Belk, is that you?
What's happening?
Are you coming in the episode right now?
Is he returning from the dead?
Are you hacking and jacking?
A ghost hack.
He's ghost hacking.
Ghost hacking, Felk. There he is.
We're hacking and we're jacking. I'm jacking it. I'm jacking it. Hack the Cool Boys Network. Hacked all their hardwares, softwares, firmwares, malwares, hard drives, keyboards, firewires, and modems. Just hacked into the Cool Boys podcast because they were being too cool and want to jack off real good. I like when I'm about to come and I just grab a bunch of, when I grow out my ball hairs, I just grab a bunch of my ball hairs and just rip them out right when I come.
Wow, well, that was amazing, Felk. What a wonderful hack. Thank you so much, and we can't wait to see you next time.
In heaven.
In heaven, yeah, when we die.
From butt AIDS.
So, Noli, you gave the MCU a general assessment of 5 out of 5 boys.
That's correct.
I would agree with you. I give it 5 out of 5 boys as well.
Cool.
I think it's fantastic. It's essentially our Star Wars. I mean, we grew up with Star Wars as little kids, missing the first 2 movies, but this is our Star Wars, where like my uncles were able to say, like, we went to the theaters, we saw these films. We went to the theaters and saw Iron Man, you know, back when we were excited to see Iron Man, and there was way too much marketing for Iron Man. Remember how they blitzed Iron Man?
No.
Oh my God, Cool Boy Dorn, you're feeling me on this. I'm sure listening to this too, because you're probably one of the only few people that listen to a spoiler cast. Yeah, no, they blitzed. They the last 2 weeks was just like they essentially pushed every aspect of the movie out there, so you could like line up all the different like Yahoo movie clips. And all
gotcha.
The clips from like IMDb and whatever they were released on IGN, and it was just like you could watch practically all of Iron Man before the movie came out.
Yeah, that makes sense. They didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they were fucking. It was a huge gamble with Robert Downey Jr. They didn't know what was going to happen.
And you're right, and it's kind of like come out since then, like Jeff Bridges being the main person discussing this, is that Marvel didn't really know what they were doing. I think Jon Favreau's discussed this since too, but they were just improvising the script. They were just kind of throwing shit at a wall and see what would stick. Like that was Iron Man, and apparently it was just this massive kind of build as you go film, and it turned out great. Yeah, I think Jeff Bridges called it college filmmaking.
Yeah, see, I'm in the camp that didn't think it turned out that great. I did like it. It's a 3.5 out of 5 for me. I love the first half. I do not like the back half. Like, I think it's like a rush job to a finale. And that's just what happens in origin stories.
Very true. So Nolan is going through the entire MCU Cool Boy Nation again before Endgame. And Nolan, as of this screening of Captain Marvel we just saw, where are you at in your MCU?
Where am I at? I think I'm at Thor: The Dark World, and I can't bring myself to watch it, so I'm at a little bit of an impasse right now.
Oh, that's crazy, because that's going to be a really hard one to get through. That's a really boring one.
Might just skip it.
No, you can't skip them if you're doing the whole thing. What's the point then?
Yeah.
I could just give you the Cliff Notes.
My rating might go down. I think I'm at like maybe a 2 out of 5 for Thor: The Dark World. Maybe a 1.5. It might go down to 0. I do not like that movie. So boring. Yeah. The action's like fucking like uninspired, and it's fucking poor direction by Alan Taylor. He just sucks at films.
I don't really care for Thor: The Dark World. I really don't care for Iron Man 2, and honestly, I don't really care for Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh, that's blasphemous.
And Doctor Strange. I really don't care much for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, well, I don't have to rate all of those, but I think you're wrong on Captain America. Captain America: First Avenger is a great film.
Oh, I really don't. I'm not a big fan of the First Avenger, but fucking Winter Soldier is maybe the best MCU movie there is. I have rewatched Winter Soldier over the Christmas break, and it was amazing. I fucking was like blown away watching it. I'm like, this movie is so fucking good.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
it's
good. And it's got Robert Redford in it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's in my top 3. So.
It may have surpassed the Avengers for me, and I don't know if it beats Infinity War. It's too soon to tell. It's too soon.
Too soon. All right.
It's far too soon to tell. What's your favorite MCU movie, Noli? Before we move on.
I think it's Infinity War actually.
Yeah.
Just because it's the culmination of everything, and it was handled. So good. It was fun, action packed. It was breathtaking. It was paced very quickly.
So well.
And Thanos was awesome. I love Infinity War. Winter Soldier's right there. Guardians of the Galaxy's right there. Thor Ragnarok's near the top. Avengers obviously is near the top. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go down the whole fucking list. It'll take us forever.
See, Winter Soldier to me is like the best when they go grounded, and that might be my favorite grounded MCU film. And then I would say Infinity War might be my favorite MCU film that kind of is able to deal with a massive ensemble, because I love Thanos. I fucking think
Thanos, my anus. I love Thanos too.
Thanos. I don't know. You just said Thanos, and I heard Thanos in my head, and I just was like, I gotta get this out. I gotta get Thanos out.
Right. You know what else we have to get out, Ballard?
What? Our rating about Captain Marvel?
Yes, the movie we just saw.
My cool boy rating of Captain Marvel, my quick cool boy rating of Captain Marvel is absolutely a 4 out of 5 boys. I fucking liked it a lot. Okay, I loved it. I think I put Black Panther originally at 4 to 4.5, and now I have Black Panther as a 5 out of 5 boys. Captain Marvel, I don't think is going to grow much. I think it's a 4 out of 5 boy movie. I really liked it a lot, though.
Okay, cool. Well, this episode should be fun, and we might have a lot to talk about because I didn't like it. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 boys.
Oh, you hated it? Yes!
I didn't hate it. We'll get into my...
You fucking hated it!
2 out of 5 is pretty low. It's at the bottom of the barrel for me in Marvel films.
Wow, this is bad Marvel to you.
No, I'll get into it. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's a good movie.
Just get into it. What do you mean you'll get into it? Just get into
I'll
it.
Get into it. I can't think of a Marvel movie more where I felt nothing. Like,
really?
I was never bored. And
dude, I was right in it.
And I was never excited. And I was like, this is filler for me. It was just so much filler, and it was so run-of-the-mill. Everything was so bland. I didn't think it was that good.
Wow.
You know
it's Man of Steel all over again.
It is Man of Steel. Because it's Superman. She's fucking Superman, dude.
I love the Superman complex, and you hate it. That's the problem.
And my wife, I saw with my wife, we felt the same. She liked it. Okay, she liked it and thought it was great for girls and everything. But she even said to me, she's like, I don't think I'll watch that one again. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'll own that one. Like, I don't have any interest in watching Captain Marvel again.
I'll own it. For my daughter. I'll own it for myself. I'll own it because the MCU for sure. I will say that and this is really, so we can get into this later, but I would say that Captain Marvel, the character Carol Danvers, Verse, right? When she becomes binary, essentially by the end of the film, that there are moments that just felt weird. It was like mishandled Superman. I do get that. A lot of like the space flying and kind of like just flying through like, starships and stuff like that, and being able to breathe out in space. And then even the very, very end, to really jump ahead, when she throws her leather jacket on, which awesome. It looks awesome. But the reality is they've played her character's, photon abilities, her, whatever it was, her ability to blast energy. They played it as if she was like Human Torch throughout the whole movie. Like she touched a teapot,
yeah, dude,
and it heats the teapot up. Right? She touches things. She shoots power on a jet engine. It can launch a starcraft, a starship, all the way into space and all the way back to the Kree planet of Hala. But at the same time, she can put on a leather jacket made of Earth and not burn it to smithereens flying. That felt weird to me.
Yeah, one of my main things is I don't understand her power. Like you said, she heats stuff up, and then she can shoot blasts, and then she flies, and then she breathes in space, and she can just fly through things, destroy things. She's invincible. I don't understand. When she's flying through the ships at the end and blowing everything up, is she just invincible with a force field around her of heat or something? I don't know what her power was, and they don't really explain it ever. So it's just
they don't.
She has hot hands. That's all they say.
She gets her power right from shooting the light speed, light drive, whatever it was, the hyperdrive fucking engine. And that's how she gets her powers, and it's all tied to obviously the Tesseract. It wasn't the Tesseract, because that was clearly up in the Project Pegasus shuttle that was circling the planet's satellite, but Space Lab. But it definitely gave her some that Tesseract definitely gave her somehow its energy gave her some kind of fucking abilities that were out of control, out of this world type of abilities, and they have room to explore those in Captain Marvel too. Unfortunately, it does kind of, you're like, where does this come from? At least Kal-El is explained really well, and when it kind of comes into Earth, it's any of the mysticism or the things that can't be explained you can find connections. You're not grasping, and I did find that to be the case, especially in the third act of this story. I did really like Captain Marvel, though. I mean, the character Carol Danvers, Brie Larson, I really liked her a lot. I thought she was good in the movie.
Okay.
Did you not?
No, I thought Brie Larson was fine. I thought she was good. But my thing was in the trailers I was getting scared because her voiceover was so low energy.
Bad.
And she sounded like a little girl, and I was like, this is who I'm going to be watching for 2 hours.
The trailers fucked her. The marketing was horrible for her.
I think I had a life here. What aren't you telling me?
It did not make her look good.
No, and right away, that was kind of put aside. She was fine to me. She was I was like, okay, she's not as bad as I thought she was going to be. And she was she brought the energy. She brought like a great relationship with Sam L. Jackson. Like that was like my favorite part of the movie. Like they had a good rapport with each other.
Yeah, even right away when you see her wake up, you're right, Nolan. Like from her dream, I was immediately like, okay, I'm actually cool with this character. And then her rapport with Jude Law as well as like as Yonrog, like that was great too. I thought, immediately.
So Bree wasn't that bad, you know, like she was fine. The character though, I'm like, it's like Superman. I don't really like characters like that who are just like fucking all powerful and can destroy anything. She was cocky and like kind of like Tony Stark. I can't wait to kind of see them together and butt heads and her to be like, back off, dickhead. That'll be kind of fun. But now, do we have too many characters like that, like Star-Lord and Doctor Strange and Tony Stark? Like, I don't think so. It's a girl now, you know. And I am happy now that girls have a character to root for. That's great. That's positive. But for me, I just wasn't buying what they were selling, really.
And just to be clear, Cool Boy Nation, I'm sure Noli, you know, enjoys in general, you know, women characters. I would say you probably grew up with one of your favorite characters may have been someone named Sarah Connor or Ellen Ripley.
Yeah, exactly. None of that. I'm not one of those guys who will hate this movie because it's fucking about girl power. I fucking fully support that. But I just didn't like the character in this movie. And I'm saying Brie Larson was fine. She's not the problem with this movie.
You just don't like Superman.
I don't like Superman, no.
Yeah, and that is like what Captain Marvel is, not only in the MCU clearly, but I mean that is her iteration throughout television, comics, whatever. You know, it's like she's like super powerful, and she's one of the few characters in the Marvel world that can stand up to Hulk, and like not just like stand up and like, you know, it's like she can actually like stop him. And like that's a rarity in the Marvel universe. I really liked Captain Marvel. Just while we're just generalizing about Captain Marvel, the movie, I really liked it as an isolated time period piece, and I kind of thought that could be something that Marvel could really do a lot with, you know, moving forward. Is kind of show us these, because now that they have so much story, like think about this: Infinity War to Endgame, they had two films. Ant-Man and the Wasp had to take place before Infinity War. And then you have Captain Marvel had to take place before Infinity War. And so narratively, they're going to write themselves into situations when they're going to have big tentpole films like, you know, the Avengers. They're big films. They're big ensemble films. And they're going to have to get those films out there. And they're going to have to like leave them on cliffhanger so you go see the next Avenger film. But they're going to have films in between. I think this is like a great location for them to put films in the past and period places. And like they've nailed, I think even the Sam Jackson CGI, like on the face, like I was like, this is fucking awesome. They obscure his face a lot. They do. They put things in front of it, like the badge.
I didn't notice anything wrong.
It looked incredible.
I thought it was flawless.
It was maybe the best ever since I would say Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. And
well, see, Michael Douglas looks like a fucking rotting corpse, right? Samuel Jackson still looks great at like.
He looks
70.
great.
So like, I don't even know how much was just makeup, like, because he always looks good.
It's okay. So I saw behind the scenes there. It was just him normal with a normal, like, you know, Samuel Jackson in the costume, wig on for sure. His Nick Fury wig, dots on the face. And then they just tightened up the gut.
Oh, so he had dots on the face the whole time filming?
Yeah. So
crazy.
They cleaned him up digitally the whole time. They euthanine, right? They euthanine him. What do I call it in the script? Fucking because they actually give it
euthanine CGI.
It's euthanine, yeah. It's euthanine. They euthanine him. It's I don't know what the fuck it is. They de-aged him, I think is what people call it, but the actual special effects artists were calling it euthanine. And it looked great on Nick Fury the whole fucking time. And they tightened up his gut a little bit. They tightened up his jaw a little bit. And he looked like Nick Fury from Negotiator.
Yeah, and dude, I think this is one of my favorite Sam Jacksons ever. He was fun.
He was great. And people are bitching online about like, he's not like Nick Fury in any other movie. It's like, okay, Nick Fury in Iron Man takes place technically in 2008 or 2010, depending on what timeline you believe in. So that's like 15 years of him being the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., potentially, that 15 years. I imagine it would, you know, jade someone up a bit, you know, and he wouldn't be so, you know, happy-go-lucky type of character like he was in this film.
I love that he's happy-go-lucky. He reminded me that he belonged in, like, Lethal Weapon.
Oh, my God. I want them to do a whole Lethal Weapon movie that takes place immediately after Lethal Weapon 2, before 3, with euthanine done on Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
That would be amazing.
Can you imagine that?
too old for this shit.
Oh, this is something interesting I thought, Noli, that I liked about the film in general. Right away, you start noticing when you're in the whole, Star Force, the Kree world and everything, they announce Hala. Like, they do a whole lower third locator for Hala. And it's done exactly like the Guardians of the Galaxy style.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, which is really interesting to me because, like, no one else has done that. Not one other film has borrowed another film's font, if you will, right? Their graphics package. And this is the first time that happened. Even Infinity War, when we were with Guardians, we got big old space, and we got, Nidavellir, and we got, Nowhere. We didn't get these like little locators done like Guardians. These were Infinity Wars style locators. They're huge and big on screen. I was like, wow, that's crazy. This is the first like movie to be on brand with another space film. As if they were trying to navigate some kind of like synergy within a cosmos only area for the Marvel universe. And then I felt like even Hala was designed very similar to Sakaar and Xandar, like the way they did the stats.
I don't even know these fucking planets you're talking about.
Xandar is from Guardians of the Galaxy, and Sakaar's from Ragnarok.
Okay.
So they were very similar, and then
you got to say the movie like you say, oh, it's Sakaar from Ragnarok. And I'm like, oh yeah, the junk planet with like Jeff Goldblum and Xandar. The what planet?
Glenn
is that?
Close, Glenn Close, and John C. Reilly.
Oh, yeah, that blew up at the beginning of Infinity War. That's right.
Which we saw off screen, which you might see in Endgame in a whole bunch of what we're seeing scenes again, or for the first time. The other thing they borrowed from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 specifically was the jump points. Like the whole hexagon look of it. I thought that was cool. Because we don't get that in Infinity War. You look and you see them just blasting through space.
Speaking of music, I remember in the first like 20 minutes thinking like I really like this score, and then at some point like I didn't hear shit again.
I never really liked the score in this movie.
I think I liked it in the first 20 minutes, and then I was like, where did that score go?
I don't know what the score was for this film.
Yeah, I don't know where it went. I don't fucking remember. It's fucking horrible.
This movie was fucking loaded in needle drops, and I want to know, what is your favorite needle drop that hit in this film?
I don't know.
Come on, 90s music! 90s!
The fucking Nirvana song felt off. Come As You Are. Like, what? I don't know why that came about at that scene. It was like, I was like, what?
Yeah, when she's like going back to the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, I was like, why did she like woke up in like the Supreme Intelligence and that song was going on? I was like, what is this song doing here?
Come As You Are. My favorite needle drop was Garbage's Only Happy When It Rains.
Yeah, well, that's just a great song.
I'm only happy when it's complicated.
Yeah.
I'm only happy when it's something.
Yeah.
I'm only happy when it rains.
That's right.
Lord, you're bringing it down.
All right. Enough. I think the needle drop we have to talk about, because it was brought up in many reviews, like of being too.
Was whole celebrity skin during the After Effects end credit scene?
No, not that. It was the on the nose of No Doubt.
I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
Little old me.
And see, here's the problem with this movie.
No doubt.
That song kicks on, and at no point did I go like, oh God, this is like a terrible choice. At no point did I go like, oh dude, this is fucking awesome that they played. So I just felt nothing so much through this movie. I felt nothing. Okay.
When No Doubt came on and I'm Just a Girl starts blasting in my movie theater, nobody roared, just so we're clear. Okay. Nobody roared at any moment in this movie. It kind of upset me. In my theater, everyone was just like, durr.
We'll get to roars in a minute, because my theater was very lively.
Oh, really? Okay.
My theater gave this movie a 10 out of 5.
Nobody, they did. They loved it. That's amazing. Nobody gave a fuck about Stan Lee in my theater.
Oh.
Like, nobody gave a fuck about anything. But anyways, I was probably the only person that was rocking out to I'm only happy when it rains. But Just a Girl kicks on, and I like this movie a lot. But that was the moment I was just like, what the fuck? This is way too on the nose. This is not right.
That song came on, and I was thinking in my head, oh, someone's going to really hate this right now. Like, anyone could really hate that part, because that part's silly.
Yeah.
But I was
like it.
But I was just like, I don't care.
You know what worked for me?
What?
The score there.
Yes, yeah, a heroic score of her. Like that was like her big moment of using like a lot of her powers on all the bad guys there.
Uh-huh.
A really good score would have worked flawlessly.
And I would have remembered the score.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a memorable moment. And instead it was, I'm just a girl, just little old me.
Yeah.
And then she's like beating the fuck out of a group of guys, I guess, in Minerva.
It was about like a minute of screen time, maybe. It wasn't that long.
No, it was quick because it was all just quick, fast. It was just like, hey, remember that song? Hey, remember that song? Hey, remember Waterfalls? You know?
Oh yeah, TLC was in there. I like that.
So that's your favorite. That's your
my favorite
needle drop.
TLC reference, which was a shot. It was just like panning through the desert and like don't go chasing waterfalls.
It was literally like maybe 5 seconds of song, and then it goes straight into the car, and then it faded off to nothing. Like at least I'm only happy when it rains. It comes straight from Talos saying goodbye to his friend who's dead in the alien autopsy, right? That's super 90s, alien autopsy, all the way to the jukebox. Garbage gets a whole like 90 seconds.
Yes, exactly. This was a fucking movie in the 90s with a 90s soundtrack, with the soundtrack like a movie in the 90s where they would just play like 5 seconds of the song and you'd fucking go out and buy that soundtrack and you'd have all those hit songs on there. You'd be like, I don't even remember this song playing in the movie. Oh yeah, it played for 3 seconds in that one fucking like establishing shot. This is probably a soundtrack I would have totally bought in the 90s.
I will buy the soundtrack now.
Okay.
I will go and buy it. Where can I buy this? Amazon? Can I give Jeff Bezos more money?
You can.
And then speaking of 90s, Noli, 90s computers.
Yeah, we had a 90s computer scene. That was fun. I like that scene.
I loved it. I loved the internet cafe. I thought that was awesome.
That was fun.
I love that she's like all like doing the the stupid fingers.
Yeah.
One finger at a time.
That was fun.
And then Alta Vista, which was my jam. I loved Alta Vista. Rest in peace, Alta Vista.
I heard you died on the 5 going 85 while doing blow off a hooker's tit.
Alta Vista did?
Yeah.
How big's Alta Vista's dick?
The biggest. The grandest, the tallest.
Rest in peace, Alta Vista.
Rest in peace, Alta Vista.
But I also really loved when they loaded the CD and it took forever. And then it's like all this tension's building around Captain Marvel, but no one else. And she's just like, what's happening? And then Nick Fury goes, it's loading.
Yeah.
I love that. That was the world, Cool Boy Nation, if you were too young to know.
That's
what it was like.
That was a good scene.
You would watch a whole image just slowly load, and you would kind of see blurry nipple, and then you start to see only pixelated.
Do you remember
nipple.
that? You'd see you see the forehead come in first, and you see the eyes, and it was slowly like line by line
all
just
the way
start
down.
showing up. You start seeing a tit, and keep going down, and you'd be like looking down the hallway. Is my mom coming? Is my mom coming?
Yeah, because it takes like an hour.
Yeah, it took. Oh god.
It took an hour, so you rarely saw a puss because you usually had to click off.
Yeah. And you remember those days of dial-up when you'd finally like get off the internet and your mom would finally get her phone call through like, where have you been? I've been calling for 5 hours.
Yeah, no, not really. We had a couple of lines, so I was lucky.
Oh, I didn't get a second line until high school.
Oh, speaking of second lines, this has nothing to do with second lines. I thought the movie did a pretty good job of homaging a lot of films from like the 90s, a couple 80s ones. I definitely thought that the Star Force mission, when they go and drop into the planet with the dropship and then go into the water and shoot everyone out, totally reminded me of Aliens. Not necessarily because of visuals specifically, but just the tone of it felt like Aliens to me.
Yeah, that scene, they kept using like a POV effect through like a lens of like someone's like fucking like mask or something. Like that was fucking me up. I hated that part.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of POV if it's not done well, but I think they were probably also homaging James Cameron. And then also James Cameron, I got some T2 vibes, mostly in the way she stole the bike.
Oh, totally. That was a T2 scene.
Yeah, and then I got like a little Lethal Weapon vibe and T2 vibe in the car chase / subway, whatever you want to call it, the light rail chase.
I didn't like that scene.
It wasn't as spectacular as I would have hoped, but I didn't have any issues with it.
That was like your midway point, like action scene, and like there was nothing spectacular about it. Like it was so fucking generic and shot just like generically. I was just like, oh fuck. Like that's when I was kind of thinking like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie that much.
See, okay, I can give you the actual Captain Marvel fight sequence wasn't necessarily the best, and it was kind of funny because the way, like, it wasn't funny in a good way either. The way, like, people were like looking at her weird, or the people would be like, "What the scroll?" Because there's things that should have caught people's eyes, especially when the kid got on a subway car and then turned into an old woman out of nowhere. Someone should have seen that probably. But I like Samuel Jackson's moments in that chase a lot when he's got like the quote unquote Phil Coulson in the car.
Yeah, and they kind of did it like the French Connection. Like he's on the ground looking up at like a train keep going by.
Yeah, that I liked. I thought that was fun, and that was the part of the chase that I really enjoyed. And I even liked how he took his, car and slammed it into a bus or something, right? Because he wanted to kill the Skrull.
Yeah, everything Samuel Jackson was in this movie, every scene he was in, elevated it and made it watchable for me. Where I was just like, yes, I want to be on this adventure.
Yeah, and that car chase also reminded me about like, oh yeah, that's right. In Winter Soldier, he has a fucking awesome car chase.
Yeah.
It is so badass. And then on top of that, Noli, we had a blockbuster video when Captain Marvel lands on C-53, a Terran planet, Earth.
Mm-hmm.
She lands in blockbuster video. This one, blockbuster video, was actually a real location, the last location in Bend, Oregon.
They shot that there?
Yeah, which we mentioned in episode 81. Renting movies.
Yeah,
we
nice.
talked about that.
The blockbuster scene got many laughs in my theater.
Once again, no one gave a fuck in my theater. I loved it, and I saw one particular movie rental. It was my fucking favorite, and I was just like, oh!
Yeah, I know what it is.
Last Action Hero.
Yes. I saw that too, and it was right after she blew Arnold's head off, and I was like, what the fuck? Are they like making fun of Arnold? And then she walks by Last Action Hero, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe they're not. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes.
And I couldn't tell if it was a True Lies poster or cardboard, or if it was a true romance one.
No, it was Jamie Lee Curtis standing there with Arnold in his tuxedo with the handgun, and she like lands and
the white tuxedo jacket.
Yeah, and immediately she lands and blows off Arnold's head, and I was like, oh, are they like saying like Arnold's a bad guy, like he's sexist, and they're like shooting him? But then she walks right by an Arnold, a Last Action Hero fucking movie, and I'm like, oh. No, maybe these are just like, wait, that's not a Disney movie. Why was Arnold so prominent in that movie store? Because he's 90s?
Dude, because the 90s, they knew. And on top of that, they were definitely referencing like T2 and stuff, I felt like. But that was huge to me because like seriously, like I saw Last Action Hero in there. First I saw like 3 other movies when she was walking down the aisle. I'm like, oh. And then, like, I can't tell you what those 3 movies were, because as soon as I saw Last Action Hero, I literally was like, oh! Yeah, I was fucking blown away.
She, like, stopped right next to it. It was, like, right next to, like, her left shoulder or something.
Yeah, it was right behind her as she was walking down the aisle, but, like, it was there, out of focus slightly, but it was there.
Oh, it was definitely there.
And then the only other 90s movie that I think this movie kind of really felt like to me, at least, was Independence Day.
Oh. You're jumping ahead, but dude, I was gonna say the finale is Independence Day.
It is Independence Day.
So we can go into it right now.
Yeah, why not? We're out of order. Doesn't matter.
I swear to God, when there's Cool Boy Nation, you've seen the movie. There's a chase scene in the canyons in fucking like Nevada between an alien spaceship and a.
Wait, are you describing Captain Marvel or Independence Day?
Yeah, with a shield and then a shield jet, and they're flying through. And I could have sworn I saw Harry Connick Jr. and Will Smith. They're flying right behind that alien spacecraft, shooting it. It was the exact same scene, and that's when I was like, oh. Then they'd cut to like shots inside like the spacecraft up in space with like Captain Marvel, and I was like, oh, this is like Independence Day happening right now.
Yeah, it felt like Independence Day. I also got vibes of Iron Eagle and Iron Eagle 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, maybe 3 a little bit, too.
Even 3? No, 3. Wait, is it 3 when they go back to Vietnam or some shit?
Yeah, I think there's 4 of them. That might be 4.
Louis Gossett Jr. Mm-hmm. Why is he not in a Marvel movie yet? He should have been in this movie.
He's been in a Marvel movie. He's been in The Punisher, 1989 with Dolph Lundgren.
That's right, because he's the cop.
He is the cop.
If society won't punish the guilty, he will.
You see this board here? Every time he kills somebody, I put a red pin in it. So far, the only thing that I've got to show for it, these little calling cards here, and a whole bunch of these.
Now let me tell you something about this Punisher. If he ever shows up within 1,000 yards of me, he'll find out what the word punished really means.
He defends the innocent. But if you're guilty, he gives no warning and shows no mercy.
What the hell is this? Trouble.
Dolph Lundgren, Louis Gossett Jr.
Mr. P, happy hunting!
The Punisher. Justice with a vengeance.
And you see Dolph Lundgren's balls in that movie.
You always talk about Dolph Lundgren's balls.
It's so true, though. It's the only movie where his balls are on display from behind. He's giving you a fruit bowl. He gives you 2 fruit bowls in that movie.
You always bring that up. You watched it
You realize
recently.
that might be one of the hardest R's in any Marvel film is Punisher? It's more R than Blade. It's more R than Deadpool.
Dude, Dolph like brutally beats the shit out of women in that movie.
Oh, there's like a glass fight at the end with the guy from The Fugitive. He's a bad guy in this movie too, in Punisher.
Oh wait, he's like the dad in Punisher though.
Yeah, he's the evil guy that's got his son is kidnapped by the Yakuza.
Yeah, he's like a fucking liar. He's really just he had a bad deal and he hires the Punisher, but really he's the bad guy.
Yeah, and then like the whole, oh my God, it's not great, but it's good. It's worth watching if you've not seen it. Go see 1989, The Punisher.
If anything, for the fucking super fast POV like tunnel shots down the tunnel that would like go down like all the turns and like lead up right to like fucking Dolph Lundgren with his balls hanging out.
Oh my God, that's the best. That's how it. Yeah, that's literally how that shot ends, on his balls.
I need to watch it right now.
Silhouetted. Balls. Oh, and then and one more movie. I guess I do recall that this movie reminded me of Captain Marvel. Blade Runner. I had such a Blade Runner feel in the beginning when they were on Hala, and she woke up and it was like just kind of like long, slow shots of her waking up, and then like they worked their way. It had a very like Animatrix-y feel too at some points with the training. I really dug it. Like I was in the movie right away. Once we were on Hala, she wakes up and she does all that sparring with Jude Law, and you really get to start establish her origin story. And this is like her origin story, and it's Marvel's different origin story.
Your life began the day it nearly ended.
Oh my God.
We found you with no memory. We made you one of us.
I don't think so.
So you could live longer, stronger, superior.
Fuck it.
You were reborn.
I keep having these memories. Something in my past is the key to all of this.
Now, Noli, I loved it. I hear that this is also very divisive on with moviegoers, fans maybe alike. Did you enjoy the origin story, the way it was told, kind of through like manipulated memories, especially when the scrolls got to her and they really were fucking with her memories and playing it back and forth?
I did like that scene. I thought that scene was cool. It was what movie did that like that?
Minority Report.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was kind of like Minority Report there, where like you were in her head and like you could hear like people talking like on the outside, being like, no, rewind that, go back, zoom in, enhance. I like that part. That was okay.
I liked when Annette Bening kept repeating herself. She was nailing that line. She nailed it, and they made her say that line probably 90 times that day, and she nailed it all 90 of them.
Every time.
Yeah, but I liked Veers. I liked the character of Veers, and a lot like I would say in a DC film, you have Kal-El, then you have Clark Kent, and then you have Superman. You had different versions of this character played by Brie Larson. You had Veers, and then you had Captain Marvel near the end, and in the middle you had Carol Danvers when she was figuring herself out and coming out of Veers. I really liked that. I thought it was fun how they played with her name. I thought it was gonna be Vers. I kept saying Vers before the movie came out, and then when the movie came out, they're like Veers, and I'm like, awesome, sounds like fierce.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Like you knew that her name was gonna be Veers, and it was gonna be a play on of Carol Danvers.
I knew, or the rumor was, or at least I read somewhere that the whole idea was that she was going to be called on the Kree planet, or the Kree Vers, is how I thought it was going to be said, Vers, and that was because they only found some of her dog tag.
I did not know that. I kind of like that little moment of like finding out that's why they were calling her Vers, or Veers.
Right.
That was nice.
Yeah, and then she goes full binary in the end. So that's kind of like another Captain Marvel version of her, even though that's just really Captain Marvel's going full powered. I mean, that's what that is. That's when her character in the comics becomes like so fucking powerful you can't stop her. Then she's all lit up and glowing. That's black. Or that's when she's called binary. And then I kind of liked that her call sign was Avenger.
Yeah, a nice little callback touch. So we're going to the end here.
Well, I mean, just I'm mentioning that. And I just want to say, like, everything hinged on the fact that she was, like, call signed Avenger for me. So I was just like, as soon as that hit, I was like, oh, dude, 4 out of 5 boys.
that one picture shot of
that's all I needed.
Samuel L. Jackson looking at the post or the picture.
He changes the Protector Initiative to the Avengers Initiative.
I like that part because then we got the musical score from the Avengers playing to carry us out of the movie.
A slight nod to it. It wasn't the full score.
Well, I liked it. It was nice. Yeah. The ending was strong. Right there.
And so that's kind of interesting as a movie, right? With a strong ending, mentioning the Avengers, you really see kind of, the quote unquote origin to Nick Fury in this as well. It's not just a Carol Danvers origin, right? It's a Nick Fury origin story to some extent, that with the way it actually ends on him.
Yeah, I'd still rather watch Nick Fury movies.
You might get some, honestly. They've mastered his face. I mean, so
yeah.
And I'm sure Samuel Jackson is down to play. He sounds like he's always down to play.
Yeah. So when he showed up in the movie, like speaking of my audience having strong reactions to everything, he got a big cheer. But right before him, the biggest cheer in the whole fucking movie is when they showed fucking Coulson for the first time. My theater went nuts, and I was just like, Coulson? We really care about this guy?
Yeah, I was so excited. I was like, son of Cole, I am so happy you're back. But then no one in my audience gave a shit, made me feel stupid again, and then I just didn't care. And I was just like, but you know what? He was a nothing character in this movie.
And he doesn't do anything.
He does nothing other than he should have been there for continuity's sake. So for continuity's sake, let's put him in the movie. And because it's the end of phase 3, let's give him a little elbow room to be like, hey, you're welcome back, buddy. You get to touch this phase just for a second.
I'm glad he's back. I always like callbacks of things. Like, that was fine.
You know what I think Felk would not have liked?
What?
I don't think Felk would have liked the Nick Fury and how he lost his eye.
I didn't like that.
That was garbage.
It was bitch. It was a bitch fucking reason for him losing his eye.
They tease it earlier, right? His eyes gets injured, and you're like, oh, his eye, it's not it. Okay, it's not it. And then like later, the cat out of nowhere, just like when he's like, come here, kitty. And cat,
I didn't understand that scene because his reaction was also like, oh, kitty, that's okay. My eye's fine.
Yes, yeah, and then Talos looks over, and he's just kind of like, no, it won't be.
Yeah, and then
like that's it.
Yeah, that was all he had said about it, and like his reaction was like totally played for laughs, but like Samuel's response was just like, it wasn't. I was like, what the fuck? This heroic character loses his eye to a cat just scratching out who this cat has been like, he's been so nice to this whole time. I don't know why the cat did that.
It reminded me of this recent episode of Broad City that just aired, in which Alana got like air conditioning gunk in her eye. And like her eye gets worse and worse. And it's kind of like the same thing. You're like watching this movie and you're like, it's just getting worse and worse at the end. You're kind of like, what's going on here? Wait, this is just an infected scratch from a cat? It's not a cat though, right? It's a flurkin. Right.
And overall, Goose's big scene, like, yeah, that was the cat is Goose. That was fine. That was okay. That got lots of laughs. Like, that's fine with me. That was fine.
Yeah, I didn't really care for the cat.
Fine, much. Like the movie. The movie is fine.
No, 2.5 is not. I guess it technically is, right?
It's fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's fine.
I did not like the cat. I'll be honest. The cat. So the cat Goose. I'm gonna go even further. The cat played a character called Goose, which was a flurkin. The actual cat Reggie was a horrible actor. Okay, the name of the cat was Reggie. He's a terrible fucking cat. It was a horrible acting cat. They used CGI cat. I didn't care for the cat. I love cats. I'm not an anti-cat person at all. I'm not a pro-dog person either. But I did not like this cat at all. And going to this movie, I was hearing all this hype about like the cat's amazing. We're gonna cut a whole featurette and put it on the web about how the cat's so amazing. Yeah. And Samuel Jackson and Brie Larson are gonna talk about how beautiful and wonderful the cat is to play with. And that's how I know its name's Reggie. And the cat is fucking horrible. The whole thing about the cat, the flurkin, it's horribly used. It doesn't make any fucking sense. None of the flurkin makes sense. So this cat comes out of nowhere. Are all cats flurkins, or is this just one of, that's not really clear in the movie either. But that being said, let's assume it is. A flurkin is an alien creature off planet, like kind of Rocket is an alien creature.
I think it was
like
alluding that cats are all flurkins.
See, I think it was doing that if you didn't know better. But if you know like the comics, they are aliens. So it's not all cats aren't that. It's just certain Flurkins look like cats, just like whatever Rocket is looks like a raccoon. It's not a raccoon, but it looks like that. I really think you could just lifted the cat entirely out of the film. You would have a much better movie.
You needed the cat. It was a cute comic relief for like a lot of people.
No, I didn't really care for the cat.
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Carrie.
What's cute? I'll be back.
That's funny that you don't like the cat, but you love this movie.
Yeah, I love the movie. I just don't really care for that cat. I thought the cat was kind of garbage. And I really didn't. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of CGI cat.
I didn't even know there was a Reggie cat. I thought the whole thing was CGI. And honestly, the cat's maybe has fucking 15 minutes of screen time. Maybe it's not in the movie that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't even do anything until like the 70-minute mark.
Yes, exactly. Like this cat shows up in the movie, does nothing except just walks around forever, and then all of a sudden becomes like the fucking savior for the characters who can't shoot Kree.
It's comic
well
relief.
enough.
It was a comic relief moment. That's all the cat serves as purpose.
What happened to this character? There's no mention of Goose in the MCU.
Maybe Captain Marvel took it with her. I don't know. Did she?
No,
not?
she left. She left in the end of the film. There's no cat.
Oh
in her
yeah.
arms.
Okay, that's right. The cat's still there.
And they show it
Fury's
hucking
desk.
up the
That's right.
Tesseract.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the end credit scene. That's the end credit scene that sucks. Marvel's been doing that now more recently, where they just give you like a really shitty end credit scene, like Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was a shitty fucking end credit scene. The one with the ant playing drums.
Ballard, let me tell you something. So I stayed around for the first end credit sequence, right? And I won't get into it now, but I really like that.
Yep.
And then I wanted to leave, and my wife said, let's stay. Don't they have one at the very end? I said, yeah, but now all the ones at the end, they're just a joke. It's probably going to be the cat throwing up the fucking thing. And then all of a sudden...
You said that?
I said that to her. And all of a sudden the fucking scene plays and it's the cat on the desk. I started nudging her. I was like, look, it's going to happen. And he starts coughing.
It's happening!
And he fucking throws up the Tesseract like it's a fur ball. And I was just like, I told you it was going to be something stupid like that. I was like, I can't believe I fucking called it.
Well, that's really good, actually. You definitely called it.
They're just stupid now and pointless. Like, I try to actually leave before those scenes happen because they're pointless.
Well, they know. I mean, that's why they're like, okay, the mid-credit scene, if we're doing a mid-credit scene, has to fucking get the audience's dicks hard. Because if it doesn't, there's no way they're staying to the last one. And most of them aren't going to. It's just to make it garbage. So we'll just have the cat, fucking hawk up a fur ball. And it's the Tesseract.
I will say half the theaters now in Marvel films leave after the first one because they know now. I think we know now that the second one's just going to be a stupid joke that's usually not funny that you can watch on the internet the next day.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that being said, let's not get into that end credit just yet, and let's talk about the Tesseract for a second. So
what? I don't want to talk about the Tesseract.
The Tesseract is what they were like, working their way towards, or was it technically Talos's family? But yeah, so the Tesseract was built the light drive or whatever, the light speed, the hyperdrive, and it's also what gave Captain Marvel her powers. And so she is a character that got her powers from Infinity Stone, essentially. So she matches potentially then in strength, or should naturally match in strength, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, which they got it as well. They got it from the Mind Stone.
Oh, did they? I don't know.
Yeah, they got it from Loki's staff. That's what von Strucker was doing. Baron von Strucker. He was using the Mind Staff, or the Mind Stone inside of Loki's scepter. So Noli, having Project Pegasus being in this movie, mentioned this movie by Dr. Lawson. Not Philip Lawson, which it is in, I think, one variation of the comics. I think Ultimates or something like that. Marvel, you had actually, the original Captain Marvel. It was played by a woman instead of a man. And she created Project Pegasus, which is mentioned in Iron Man 2, which is what Tony looks at for the cube. When he's like, or he's looking at to like get a better, whatever, chest plate.
Oh.
He sees like the cosmic cube is in there, or technically the Tesseract. It's also Project Pegasus. That's what they go through. And then that's later mentioned in the Avengers. That's the whole facility that is destroyed. So we see this facility here in this film. It is later destroyed in the Avengers in the beginning.
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah,
so,
that's the same
that's
facility.
the Avengers compound?
Yeah, or that was the S.H.I.E.L.D. compound that they were building around the Tesseract, or working the Tesseract under.
I did not put that together.
We know what happened to that place.
It blows up.
It blows up. But did you probably had no impact or care that Annette Bening was Marvel, did you?
No, I did not care.
Well, that's a big deal. They did a sex change. It's not that big of a deal. And I thought that was kind of cool though. That Annette Bening, I thought she was gonna be Carol's mom. Or something like that, because when they talk about the Supreme Intelligence, they're like, it takes the form of someone you'd think is, important to you.
All right.
And I was like, oh, dude, who's Annette Bening then? And I was like, it's probably her mom. It actually ended up being Marvell. That was pretty cool.
I don't think I cared.
You didn't care?
No.
I thought it was cool that they were flying to a space lab and got shot down. And that I thought from a 3D perspective, I saw this in 3D. That whole crash sequence was pretty amazing.
Okay.
When she pulled out of it and she was coming back into Earth, and re-entry, and then actually had to level out the jet or whatever right before hitting the trees and then hitting the lake. I thought that was really fucking awesome.
I completely blocked that out.
That was awesome. I really liked it.
I was definitely checking out by that point in the movie, just being like, oh, okay, are you gonna get better? Are you gonna get better?
Are you gonna get better, movie? Did you like Maria Rambeau? I thought she was pretty good. I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but she was pretty amazing.
She was a good actress.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, she okay. This is off topic, but it's about the directors who directed, they're famous for directing Half Nelson, a drama that got Ryan Gosling an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Why were they hired? The Maria Rambeau had a great emotional scene with Carol at her dinner table or coffee table, whatever. Is that why they were hired for scenes like that? Because I thought their action was so fucking generic. It's just what are you guys doing? I can't remember one camera shot from the movie that was inspiring or was wow, that was really well done. There are a couple moments I will talk about later that I thought were really cool, but for the most part, it's why did you hire these guys? Fucking hire Michael Bay.
Yeah, so I think they wanted a cinematic quality to the movie, and I think they got it. I do think, because there are moments where I was like, this is nice. This is feeling like there's good pacing to this movie. And I did like the whole origin, the way it was developed and used as a storytelling device. But it is an interesting question, because I saw Mississippi Grind, and that's a movie they directed with Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn, and it's awesome.
Oh, they directed him before. Okay.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and it's a really good movie, and it's about gamblers, and I recommend it. I highly recommend it for anyone who is interested in seeing something else that they've done, that Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, I think, have done. But I don't know. Watching that movie, I wasn't these guys are totally perfect for Captain Marvel.
I know.
It was weird.
It was like watching the Doctor Strange director or fucking maybe even Spider-Man director. It was just so run of the mill. There was nothing fabulous about it.
So the Spider-Man director, John Watts, I liked about him is that, having seen Cop Car, and Clown to some extent, I really liked his ability to take child fascination from a dark perspective, from an adult perspective. So a lot of that kind of Cop Car happens in certain scenes, with Keaton in the car with Spider-Man and his daughter. Mm-hmm. That intensity in those moments.
Those are the best scenes.
That's a lot what a Cop Car brought. So I felt like that's what they were trying to do with that. And then with Scott Derrickson for Doctor Strange, they were taking his his horror background to kind of inject some horror into all the comedy and colors that is Marvel. And so they didn't really get that. I never really got the horror vibe from it. I don't know why. But they did a good job, I thought, with it. And they definitely nailed the 90s aesthetic fairly well, because I didn't feel like the movie was throwing 90s at me from a visual standpoint as much as it was from a music standpoint, obviously.
No, I thought if they were going for a 90s movie, I think they excelled in that department, thinking because I don't know her powers, and the movie didn't care to explain them. the comic book movies in the 90s were just here's a person with powers, you got to root for them. They're going to fucking go take on bad guys. This is going to be a 90-minute movie. And that's kind of what Captain Marvel was. And it was very
Batman
fast-paced.
has less origin in Batman.
Yeah. They don't explain shit. One of the things I thought the movie did really fucking well was the scene when she finally got back up.
Yeah.
At the end, and they showed through her whole life, her getting back up from a child to a teenager to an adult to finally being Captain Marvel, and she finally stood up. I thought that was a really well done scene.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I got from those directors that maybe they did right. Otherwise, like, I thought they were super generic.
I thought some of Brie was awesome, honestly. Like, I enjoyed her acting. I enjoyed the kind of characters and the wows and the yelps and stuff that she did throughout the film when she was excited about doing stuff. And I kind of liked the way she, the way she talked to people and talked down. Like, this might be inherent in who Brie Larson is, honestly. But the way that she talked down to people in the movie worked so well, considering that all she knew for 6 years was a Kree life. And they are obviously, like, people who hold themselves to a very high esteem.
Yeah, judging from the trailers, I thought she did a much better job than I thought she was going to do. And she definitely, like, you know, was a screen presence, and she was definitely, like, she looked good. Like, right? She looked like, especially in her Nine Inch Nails shirt, like, for half the movie, she looked
amazing.
Good.
Real good.
She was really good.
Real hot.
So I was surprised that she was, like, holding her own, because I thought she was going to be the worst part of the movie.
I loved her scenes with Maria Rambeau and even the kid, Monica Rambeau.
The kid was a bad child actor in the vein of, I don't want to compare them because they're black, but it was kind of like the girl from Lost World to me. Like,
no
just like
way.
Bad acting.
No way. I thought of her more of anything like the kid from Jerry Maguire.
Almost like just like this there to like say cute stuff and be like a bad actor.
Yeah, like I all she needed to say honestly was like, let's go to the zoo. And then like Carol Danvers could be like, the fucking zoo is closed, Ray. You know, and that's what needed to happen in that movie.
Tom Cruise says the fucking zoo is closed.
The fucking zoo is closed, Ray. That little girl grows up to be a version of Captain Marvel and also a character called like Photon. Do you think we're gonna see her in modern day? I mean, if you kind of flash forward to Endgame, she should be of age to become a superhero.
Played by Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
I'll see that.
Halle Berry, this girl aged 40 years.
Yeah.
Can you make me feel good? Can you make me feel good?
Halle Berry is out of control with her Instagram game, by the way, right now.
Oh, I don't follow her on Instagram. I should.
Dude, are you kidding me? All she does is post like nude now for Instagram.
You know who doesn't follow Halle Berry on Instagram?
Who?
Felk.
Felk because he's dead.
Because he's dead, but also because he doesn't like Halle Berry. He's one of the only men in the world who doesn't find Halle Berry attractive.
I don't understand that. I don't understand you,
Felk. God rest your soul.
Well, speaking of fuckable people, let's talk about Jude Law.
Oh my God.
Fuck me, Jude.
Did he get hotter in this movie?
He got so hot.
It looked like he got more hair. His eyes are like a fucking piercing yellow. Like, dude, I was ready to take off my pants at any moment and say, fuck me, Jude.
My pants were off most of the time already.
Yeah.
Because I was so hot.
Too hot, dude. Honestly, he was looking great.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see the twist coming that he was the bad guy? I mean, I figured it was probably going to come because he was like the second build or third build character.
Yes.
But I thought the twist was done nicely.
So the movie has subversions for sure. I would say that most of them played out exactly what I thought. I had a vision of this film in my head before I saw trailers, and that when I saw teasers and trailers, it began to be like, yeah, okay, I think I'm getting the movie I'm getting. And those thoughts I thought were, of course, were the Kree are bad, right? They're manipulating her. They're holding her back her powers, so she can't be the true Captain Marvel she needs to be. And then, you know, the Skrulls are actually good guys, and they're not the bad guys that the Kree say they are. And you get a lot of that in the heavy-handed stuff where she's like, I'm a Kree super soldier. And then Nick Fury's like, yeah, you're a soldier, like superpower, whatever. And she's like, hero.
So Skrulls are the bad guys. And you're a Kree, a race of noble warriors.
Heroes. Noble warrior heroes.
You know, it's like, okay, hero, get it, right. The propaganda is real thick, got it. So I kind of saw all those subversions happening and coming from a mile away. Still liked it when it happened. Still enjoyed the movie. Still enjoyed the process the movie gave it to you to lay those out, to lay out those twists and turns. But I love Jude Law's ending when he's like, way to go, kid. Like, that's fucking awesome. I love it. All right, now let's turn off, the light show and let's just fight mano a mano. And then she just blasts him away. Like, that was okay. I was like, all right, I like that. Like, I get you're doing Raiders. But it worked for me. I'm sure it doesn't work for a lot. But what I loved about it the most wasn't necessarily her line cell after that when she's like, I don't have to show you, or I don't owe you anything. Mm-hmm. It was like, It was more just Jude Law in that scene. The way he just got so excited and so cocky. Like, I was just ripping the buttons off my blouse.
Oh, yeah.
I was so excited. My sweat immediately and profusely started shooting out, and I was just like glistening in there. And I just had my arms up in like what would be like, I would say, like a touchdown formation. And I just did that the whole time.
A touchdown formation.
I was just like, fuck me, Jude. Fuck me, Jude.
You should just fucking smile and blow me!
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he looked great in his little costume.
Yeah, he did. He looked awesome. He should have done, I think, at least a few more scenes shirtless.
Yeah, and he should have. I liked him in this movie.
Wait, was he technically topless when she woke him up?
No, he had like a little, like, a tight shirt on. Very tight.
Because, okay, is this the first Marvel film where we got no abs?
I don't think we got abs this movie. I don't think we got an ass shot of any kind.
We get no ass shots in this film and no ab shots in this film.
Yeah, that's why it's a 2.5 for me.
So things I liked about it, like I mentioned, the Star Force, when they did their drop on the plant to get the scrolls in the beginning of the film, you get like the whole Star Force team. You have Minerva, right?
Fuck me, Gemma.
Fuck me, Gemma. Gemma Chan is so hot as Minerva.
She did look hot, didn't she?
She's also incredibly hot in Transformers: The Last Night.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, she's in The Last Night. She's only in the end credit stinger.
Oh,
and
God,
she's the
really?
voice of the. Yeah, and she's the voice of the villain in that. And then she's also really hot in
what?
Crazy Rich Asians.
Wait, she's the voice of the villain, but you're telling me she's hot as a robot?
No, she's at the end. She's a human in the end stinger. Michael Bay brought her out for no reason to Dubai just to shoot one scene with her and hopefully fuck her in like the Burj.
Oh, spoilers. Maybe
Yeah,
like
spoilers.
so she'd be like the villain in like the 7th one,
Yeah, I guess.
so he could fuck her.
But that's not happening anymore for Transformers. So hey, she got to be in Star Force. Guess what? Oh, they killed her. She's a legitimate Captain Marvel villain that should have been someone that could have been built out in the second film or a third film of Captain Marvel. She's just dead. They just killed her in this.
She did not have enough screen time to be the villain in the next one. She's in the movie for like 10 minutes max.
They set up Yonrog for sure to be the villain in the next one.
Oh, really? Oh, so that's Jude.
Yeah, Jude.
I want to see more of Jude. I think he didn't get his due in a Marvel film. Like, I want to see more of Jude. I like Jude.
Yeah, and I think we aren't going to see Annette Bening again unless they got her for 2 contracts, because unless she really wants to come back. Because my guess is what'll happen is the next time that Carol sees the Supreme Intelligence, she either sees the legit Supreme Intelligence that's like, you know, the giant face and a fucking giant, like, you know, glass container, or she'll see someone else important to her and be like, who's that? And then spend a whole movie like, you know, I have to find this person, you know, and it's like super handsome.
I don't think we need Annette Bening again. Like, she served her purpose in this movie. Like, I don't need to keep revisiting that well.
What, of the Captain Marvel movies?
Yeah. She's Marvel. I don't care. I don't think she serves a purpose much anymore. She was fine in this movie. Like, we don't need nothing against Annette Bening, but like the character was just, it was whatever.
I think we need Annette Bening in the next Guardians movie. Okay, so I just want her to somehow to show up in that movie then.
Because you want to come on her face.
Speaking of coming, Korath the Pursuer.
Oh, fuck me, Jimmy.
Fuck me, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. He was great, but he was nothing more than just fucking eye candy in this. It's just
Yeah,
hot to
he's
look
in the
at.
movie for 5 minutes. We know he's in fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. And Ballard, you loved Jimmy, though. You loved him.
I do.
Jimmy in Houston.
Jimmy Hutsu. I fucking loved him, not just from Amistad, but oh god, Gladiator. He is so hard in Gladiator.
Yeah, and The Island.
Oh, of course, The Island. He's the pursuer in that one too. He is gorgeous, honestly. He's a really gorgeous
He's a hot man. Straight from
He
Africa.
really is. And how old is he, Noli?
Dude, he's like 60.
He's like 80, I think.
Oh my god, he's so fucking hot.
How old is he?
Too
I
hot.
really, I need to know. He's too hot and too close. That's for sure.
He's always so ripped.
Do you think he bathes ripped and ripe?
How old is he?
54.
Yeah, I said he's almost 60. The guy's fucking old.
Yeah, and guess what? His birthday's coming up soon, April 24th.
Fuck yes. And speaking of more fucking, who do we have next?
Oh my god, the rest. Fuck me, everyone. I don't know. It was the guy that thought he was the Game of Thrones guy, but he wasn't the Game of Thrones guy with the white beard. And then there was the other guy that had the little tiny like 90s fro.
There's like an Asian guy who was blue. They were like all blue.
Yeah. So that's weird, right? So some of the Kree are blue, I guess, and some of the Kree aren't blue.
And then you have human-looking ones who are perfect and totally fuckable, like fucking Jude and Digimon. How do you say his name?
Jimon.
And then fucking Miss Fierce. Yeah, that was kind of strange.
And Minerva, though.
Anyway, we'd fuck them all. We'd fuck everybody.
I liked how with Minerva they got her domino mask in there as like part of her sniper costume, and then when she wasn't being super snipery, the mask like came off. I guess it was attached to the gun. I wasn't even sure what was going on.
I have no idea who those characters are, so there were never.
She normally has like a domino like kind of a mask. That character, they drew it on her.
Okay.
And then there's one more Kree we haven't mentioned, Ronan the Accuser.
Fuck me, Ronan.
Fuck me, Ronan. Yeah. Lee Pace.
It was weird seeing
He didn't need to be in this movie.
He didn't need to be in this movie, and it was weird. Like, I didn't really recognize him at first because he didn't have the black paint on his face, but I remember in the Guardians, he puts it on his face, like, in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, because Guardians is when he becomes, like, the rebellious Ronan the Accuser and goes against all Kree, and he's kind of become his own faction, right? His own, like, religious faction. This movie, he was still Ronan the Accuser and still, like, part of the Accusers and going around and hunting people down and just, bringing them to justice.
But I'm glad, like, he was in there. I like when, like, these movies tie, like, into other movies. Like, I could use more of that. Like, you could throw as much connection as you want. Like, I'll always be happy with that.
Yeah. Especially since you are watching, a television episode that's about, 2 hours long.
Sure.
I mean, you definitely, why not have it tied in? I like that a lot. I love that kind of stuff as well. Even if it is throwaway, the only one I really didn't care for, even Phil Coulson wasn't necessarily needed, or Ronan the Accuser wasn't necessarily needed. I still was like, why was Phil Coulson's CGI face so bad?
He was the only one that was blatantly totally de-aged, because I think it was his haircut, because he's always been bald and they gave him hair. It was the hairline, like John Travolta. He was fucking wearing a bad toupee the whole time.
What a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't understand that. That it just felt, and it felt like they did not spend the big bucks on him. They clearly spent more money on Sam.
For sure.
The Kree were the bad guys. The Skrulls were the quote unquote good guys. I did have one thought during the movie, and it did not come to fruition at all. So I was watching the Kree and thinking, all right, you're gonna be bad, right? And then I was watching the Skrulls and like, okay, you're gonna be good, right? But then I thought, wait, maybe the Skrulls will turn bad by the end of the movie, and it'll be like she was helping people she thought were good, and they ended up were actually using her, and they were bad people. And then it was one of those things that both sides of war, your hands get dirty, you get blood on both hands, right? Even Talos says that at one point. So I was like, oh shit, is he setting up that he's going to turn on Carol? Didn't happen at all. So they really are just good guys.
Yeah, I thought he might do a double cross for sure.
I was hoping he kind of would.
And you know what? In lots of the reviews, they were fucking praising what do you say his last name? Mendelsohn's performance, and he's always good. He's a fucking great actor. He's in anything he's in, he's phenomenal. But they were saying he was a scene stealer and one of the best villains since whatever. Thanos. Maybe that's true because Thanos just was in 2 movies ago. But for me, that was that could have been anyone USA in that part. Really?
Yeah.
He didn't bring anything. He was fine in it. He had some good comedic timing, but he didn't bring anything to that role that couldn't have been anyone. That could have been fucking Corey Feldman.
It could definitely have been Corey Feldman for sure.
And it would have been the same.
It would have been the same. I think in fact, we should probably do a petition to re-edit this movie with Corey Feldman as Talos.
Just have him dub over all those lines because he's always in alien fucking form.
Done. Perfect. By the way, I love that makeup. I thought it was really good makeup.
Yeah, that's why I thought there was gonna be a double cross because that makeup just fucking projected evilness.
It did, and that's supposed to be the whole thing. People who look bad can be good, and people who look good can be bad, right? I think even Lord of the Rings they talk about that. An enemy would smell would look fairer and smell fouler or some shit. But I thought I was just I don't know. This feels because the Skrulls and the Kree have commonly aren't good characters in the comics, and so they're not good characters. So I was kind of like, where are they going with this? And I surprised me that they were honestly good, solid good all across the board in this film. But they did say there are other Skrulls across the universe, right? And there, there could be good ones and bad ones out there. But there was an interesting point. So Talos is about to like kill a Kree soldier, and he like essentially is like, wife, cover her eyes to his daughter. And so his daughter sees him in the end, regardless, kill this Kree soldier. I'm guessing because this character will grow up, right? Now, 15 years later, it'll be, or not even 15 years later, it'll be 25 years later, whatever the next Captain Marvel film comes out. You'll have essentially this character grown up, and I think it could be the Skrull Queen. And I think they could be setting that up, that she's just a villainous and she saw murder early on, and maybe something happens to Talos in between where like he's killed and maybe killed by humans, and that's why.
Yeah, I don't even know who the Skrull Queen is.
Veronki, I'm not sure how you say her
because
name.
I stopped reading comics when I was 13 years old
child.
and and started watching maybe the cartoons and then eventually the movies, but the comics I don't keep up with them.
So I normally I would be able to say, no, well, the Skrull Queen, I read about her too in like high school and stuff, but the reality is that she was created like in 2005 or some shit. So.
Yeah. I heard, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Talos also in the comics, he can't shapeshift. And so he just becomes a great warrior. I thought that was interesting in the movie, though. They made him one of the best shapeshifters. He talks about it as being a talent, and some people are just talented.
He's very talented.
And then he's a shapeshifter, yeah. And so that was weird for them to make the best shapeshifter in the movie a character in the comics that's known for not shapeshifting. Very interesting choice.
Yeah.
Another subversion, if you will.
If you will.
I do think we're going to see the Skrulls turn bad eventually. We will get like a secret invasion storyline.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I know about that.
Yeah, that'll probably come like not maybe in phase 4. Maybe they'll seed it in phase 4 and it'll be like the phase 6.
And you'll get
like,
your Skrull
final.
Queen. You'll get your Skrull Queen.
Yeah, then we'll see that character. Maybe we'll see that scene again from another perspective. That's my favorite. All right, well, let's get into the final tidbits of this movie.
Final tidbits.
That's it. We're rounding the horn.
Here we go.
So
let's wrap this up.
Why didn't Fury use the pager sooner? Like, why did he wait until he started to turn into dust, or potentially he was going to turn into dust?
Because I think he thought that Earth's mightiest heroes could get the job done until he started fucking evaporating. He was like, "Oh fuck, I'm done. I need to fucking page this one in."
Well, yeah, I don't know. It feels like a weird retcon that he has his pager now, and that there were times when maybe he should have used it. I would say every Avengers film prior to Infinity War, he maybe should have used it.
Yeah, and that's what's weird about like putting this character in here like right now. Like, I think she's like super overpowered, and like fucking she could just fucking fly through Thanos in a second and destroy him. So I do have one theory of how Endgame's gonna go.
She can fly right up Thanos' asshole.
Yeah, in Thanos' anus.
Thanos' anus.
Yeah. So I think before I talk about how I think Endgame's gonna go, we have to talk about how Captain Marvel ended.
That's absolutely right. So the mid-credit scene is Captain Marvel's pager that she just gave to Nick Fury in the end of the film. Practically, she's like, and only use it in an emergency. The Avengers at the compound are looking at it and trying to see what's going on, and apparently the signal's stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Black Widow says, like, I need to know as soon as you have someone on the other end, and then turns around and it's fucking Captain Marvel in a slightly different Captain Marvel costume.
Yeah, with longer hair.
I did not like this longer hair.
I did.
Oh, I did not like it, Sam.
I am. Glad we're in the same thought process there.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, that scene got me jacked. Like, when she was there in the room with them, like, I was like, oh, dude, I like this. Like, I see her with that team. Like, that's when I got excited. I was like, maybe Captain Marvel will be cool because she will fit in with these guys because she has, like, a personality. She's spunky. She can, like, put guys in her place. Like, there could be some fun to be had here. And she was pissed off when she fucking arrived there. She was like, where's Fury?
Yeah, that was interesting because, like, I'm like, oh, okay, we're seeing a scene from the movie.
Yeah, and is that scene going to be in the beginning, the middle?
Yeah, it has to be. I mean,
I don't know.
Almost, okay, this is interesting, Nolan.
They're giving things away, though. They're giving things away.
You're right. But finally, and it's like you kind of earn it if you watched all of Captain Marvel. But I would say this.
Earn this.
When we earned this, You get an end credit scene at the end of Ant-Man that is actually in Civil War.
You get an end credit scene in Doctor Strange that's actually in Thor Ragnarok.
That's right. That's in Thor Ragnarok. Yeah. And so they have a history of this. So this could be this end credit scene could be a scene from Endgame. It's weird that everything we've seen from Endgame does not once have Captain America with his beard.
Yeah.
Now we have seen shots from, I think, the teaser for Endgame where Captain America has no beard and Black Widow has a silver hair still, short hair cut.
And they're in that same set that this fucking thing took place.
Right.
That's weird.
And then you have apparently Ant-Man showing up around that same time, right?
Yeah.
So he shows up about that time. Then we have like shots of like Black Widow with red hair and a ponytail and like all these different haircuts and hairstyles. It's like, well, how many years does Endgame travel?
Well, if it's like John Travolta, it only takes place within 1 year because he's changing his hair all the time.
Maybe so. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it's all wigs. But I really was like thinking about it. I'm like, I think we're going to get a scene in which the Avengers go to like space right away based on just the fact that Captain Marvel's coming down real fast. And shit goes to hell. It's a fucked up mission. It does not work. And they have to go back in time maybe or something like that.
So yeah, here's my thought process on the only way I think Endgame can work with Captain Marvel is she shows up, they think they have their ace in the hole, they go after Thanos or whatever, and shit goes bad and she fucking gets blown away. And then she comes back in the resurrection of everyone else at the end. Because that's the only way this works because she's too powerful. She would fuck Thanos up.
Yeah, she would.
So I think she shows up and she gets destroyed and it relies on the original Avengers to take Thanos the Anus down. Because I know the Russos have talked about this, about the overpowered heroes. They don't like them. And we know that like we want the core Avengers to be saving the day here. We don't want this character who just showed up to be the fucking hero of this saga. It doesn't make sense. So she's got to go down somehow.
You're absolutely right. And I've read that interview as well with the Russo brothers. So you're kind of like you're onto something there. And I think you're right. Maybe she takes him to space and she gets blasted, thinking that she can't be stopped and she's super cocky. And then they have to reevaluate again. And they do all that traveling. And I wonder because Endgame was shot. Or scenes with Captain Marvel, at least, were shot before she shot Captain Marvel. Like, she shot Endgame as Captain Marvel before she shot anything for Captain Marvel.
That's weird.
Yeah. So, I'm wondering if that's even more to your point, because it's a lot like Infinity War, where you kill off, Phase 3 characters we've established, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Wasp. Like, these are characters that were established in their films, Ant-Man the Wasp being the only film that the Wasp was essentially quote-unquote established, and then wiped out all in Phase 3. So that would make sense for even Endgame to end that way, and then, bring her back with everything. That's a really fucking amazing speculation.
I also think it would be the best thing to do, too, because it would let her know that she's not this all-powerful being, and she can be destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely, because where does Captain Marvel 2 go? I mean... Kevin Feige's talked about...
The movie ends with her flying through ships and destroying them in a single bound. Like, what do you do after that?
Even crazier, the movie ends with her in space, no helmet, no breathing apparatus at all, so she can just survive in space. And she's going light speed along with all the Skrulls.
Yeah.
And she's going light speed outside of the starship.
I didn't even put that together. I think at that point I was just like, oh, it's over. Cool. Yes.
So I was like, wow, that is an incredible character you have there, traveling outside any ship through space, which is really common in comics, especially DC comics, and you see that a lot in DC TV shows,
Silver Surfer,
cartoons. Yeah, you see these characters like in space, just flying around and dealing with it and living and not having any issues. And we haven't seen that yet in Marvel, and we're going to probably start seeing that more in Marvel, probably especially DC if they go Cosmos. But it's weird in live action. It's like the Green Lantern. Like, it's weird in live action. It's not good in live action.
No, it just doesn't look right. It looks cool on a page, and when you're flying through space with your helmet off, smiling, and like, oh, this is the best time ever.
It looks weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why Superman works, but he's usually only like in orbit.
He goes right to the outlier of Earth, and then he comes back down.
He's not like zipping like out, because even in Superman Returns, the idea was that he traveled to where he thought, Krypton was and where there may be survivors or whatever, in his starship still. He was actually in a starship. The Richard Donner style starship. The whole, looked like crystals and crap.
Yeah.
Well, I think Avengers Endgame, for me, I think one of the things that's interesting to me, and just to kind of go a little off topic from Captain Marvel specifically, is Tony Stark. I think absolutely Tony Stark and Nebula are right next to Nidavellir. I think the shot in the trailer where it shows the sun has some kind of shadow reflection thing, and it's actually changing. It looks like something's blocking some light. I think that's the bands around Nidavellir. And I bet you he's right there, and him and Nebula go and make that fucking Infinity Gauntlet.
You think so?
I think, or go and talk to Eitri and
it would make sense. I mean, he can build shit like crazy. So maybe he builds
Eitri can build shit like crazy. Tony can build shit like crazy. Think about what Tony could do with a fucking
I don't really want to watch a movie though with fucking Tony and fucking Peter Dinklage. Damn it, building something for
where's the
40
Hansel?
minutes. I don't want to watch them doing that for 40 minutes. If you think about Infinity War, Thor making a hammer there for or a fucking axe there for 30 minutes. That was horrible, but at least he came in and fucking had a great entrance, and the music.
I think we're gonna get that with Tony before he dies.
My dick was fucking through the roof of the theater, always.
Not. I was busy doing all kinds of drugs in the handicap stall of my theater for Infinity War during that scene. I think. Remember that?
No.
Cool Boy Nation, go listen to the Infinity War Spoilercast. I really think that we're gonna see Tony at Nidavellir because it mirrors. I think Endgame's the end of Tony Stark. I think that's the end.
I think so for sure. It would make sense.
So it mirrors Iron Man.
I will cry.
Right? He's in the Afghani cave trying to build a suit.
Yeah.
He goes to Nidavellir, trapped in a dying star or whatever.
Yeah, he's gonna be out though. We've seen pictures of him on the street, looking different, with the old Captain America.
I think that's part of the time travel when they fuck up and everything goes to shit in the first attack.
Well, guys, the only thing I got from Captain Marvel was I can't wait for Endgame because I think that's going to be the movie I want to see.
Well, Kevin Feige's mentioned for Captain Marvel that based on what's happening right now with the numbers coming in for Captain Marvel, how much money it's made, and then also weighing in all the money that Endgame makes and who's actually seen in Endgame as fascinating, or you might be playing coy, Noli, because of what you just mentioned, the fact that maybe Captain Marvel's killed fucking super early on, but Kevin Feige has talked about that moving forward, there's a possibility that Captain Marvel could continue in the 90s, and that the second film is just following where we left off.
Yeah, maybe she dies. That'd be great.
Yeah, and so we don't get to find out what happens to her beyond that. And then we wouldn't be remiss if we didn't mention Stan Lee, who passed away not too long ago.
Yeah.
This was his first live action. That's important because Spider-Verse. This is his first live action cameo since
his death.
He died.
Yeah, and my theater was uproarious. Is that even a word? Uproarious?
Yeah, that is.
When the Marvel logo appeared and Stan Lee's in all those images. And that was cool. That was really cool.
That was awesome with all his little sayings and him drawn by I think Ryan Meandering. And then it was cut to the live action shot.
So my very lively theater audience was loving that, and of course when his cameo came, they stood up and they were clapping, and the screen said "Thank you, Stan" before the movie started. People stood up and clapped for that. I was God, people really love Stan Lee. That's cool.
Yeah, Stan Lee's awesome. I really like Stan Lee a lot, and I think maybe my favorite cameo was actually Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think that's the best cameo.
That yet, but honestly,
it's a sad cameo because it was just after he died, and he says. The suit always fits or something to that effect. And then he points to a sign that says no refunds, no returns. And it's kind of oh, that's sad because he's dead.
And did Stan Lee, though, have anything to do with Captain Marvel? I feel like he didn't.
No.
Because it's like a 90s or 2000s creation, right?
No, she's old.
With Carol Danvers, though. The version they're doing now, though, is from 2000.
Yes. Okay. So they based most of this off of a run that's going on not long ago. Correct. But Carol Danvers and also Captain Marvel are really old, the 60s or some shit. Okay. What do you think about the cameo, Mallrats? He's reading a script from Mallrats.
Yeah, with Kevin. That would happen, and that was awesome. That was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So wait. So is Stan Lee actually Stan Lee in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and also an informant for the Watchers?
Yes, that's right.
So what's going on?
Don't put too much
thought in it.
Don't put too much thought in it.
I hope, here's my hope. I hope Endgame is his last live-action cameo.
Is it confirmed that he filmed his cameo for that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's even confirmed, I think, that he's filmed for Spider-Man Far From Home and potentially even like maybe 1 or 2 after that.
I know when they brought him in, they would film like 10 in one day.
Yeah, so they were doing large batches. That's correct. So they started filming them back when James was there, James Gunn, and they filmed a huge batch then. And every time they got him, for a moment they filmed a whole bunch of scenes. I hope though, even if they have more, I hope that Endgame is the end. It would be a natural place to end doing Stan Lee cameos.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it. Wow.
Wow. Our first episode without Felk. Ooh. Felk, we missed you. And we'll pray to you. And we'll think about you up in your heaven, dying from your butt AIDS.
Quick Cool Boy ranking of all the MCU space films. Now, we're only going to do the films that took place or widely took place in space.
Jesus Christ.
So those films are going to be Thor, Thor the Dark World, Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, and Captain Marvel. Rank from your favorite, from your least favorite to your favorite, the MCU space films.
Bottom, Thor Dark World.
Yes.
Then maybe Thor.
Okay.
Then Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Then Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Then Thor Ragnarok. Then Guardians of the Galaxy. And then Infinity War.
Wow. Okay. My number 7 is Thor the Dark World. My number 6 is Thor. My number 5 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. My number 4 is Captain Marvel. My number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy. My number 2 is Thor Ragnarok. And my number 1 is Avengers Infinity War.
So our list is the same? Or do we flip? Well, we flipped one movie.
I think we just flipped one movie. I can't remember.
No, I think we're the same. I think we're the same.
Wait, are we the same?
Do you have Guardians of the Galaxy 2 over Captain Marvel?
No, that's the only one.
Okay, so you flipped that one.
Yeah.
And I could see that. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was fun the first time I watched it. The second time I watched it, I was like, maybe this isn't the best movie. But I still had fun. I don't think I had any fun in Captain Marvel.
See, I had way more fun with Captain Marvel than I did with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Mm-hmm. In a theater that didn't care about Captain Marvel.
I was the only one. I was like, go girls! Even though Brie doesn't want me here because I'm a white man pushing 40. This movie's not made for me, but I liked it.
Did you see this by yourself?
I did.
You couldn't get anyone to go along with you?
I can't get people to go with me. Are you kidding me? Nobody wants to see movies with me. I'm not a good person to see movies with when I'm just in the movie theater going, oh!
This war is just the beginning.
I'm not gonna fight your war. I'm gonna end it.
Cool Boy Nation, tell us what you thought about Captain Marvel by emailing us at thecoolboypodcast@gmail.com. New episodes come out every Tuesday. Be sure to like and subscribe to us at The Cool Boys Podcast. I don't care about whatever the fuck is written. See us at Patreon. Look at Patreon. I don't give a fuck what you do. It's content too hot to fucking air. You can find The Cool Boys at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Also, please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with Batman and Beyond on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Felk, is what Felk always likes to say, Noli.
Aw, and that's Byzies from Ballard. So sad.
You are a standing American boy.
You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Get out of here, damn silly. Get out of here!
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys Podcast was brought to you by...
I'm only happy when it rains. I'm only happy when it's complicated. I'm only happy when it's something. I'm only happy when it rains.
Jitsu, cool boy. So serious.
Boy, you're bringing it down.